Inside the Magic Show number 474 for May the 4th, 2014.
Obi-Wan Kenobi here. You're inside the magic. I have a bad feeling about this.
It is Sunday, May the 4th. Be with you, 2014. This is show 474 of Inside the Magic, and as always, I am your host, Ricky Briganti. But you know what? Last week we talked all about Star Wars. This week, despite the fact that it is May the 4th, Star Wars Day, we got to move on to a lot of other really big things. So before I get started with all of it, I do invite you to visit our website at InsideTheMagic.net. There you'll find all of our podcasts, videos, photos, news, articles, and plenty more. And if you ever have any news, tips, questions, comments, or anything you want to send in, you can do so by emailing me at ricky@InsideTheMagic.net, or you can call and leave a message at 407-494-4ITM. That's 4486. And now, let's get on with the show. This week's episode of Inside the Magic is brought to you by Magical Travel. Book your summer Disney cruise with Magical Travel and receive a free shipboard credit to use while you're on your vacation. You're going to want to book now for the best availability and pricing by calling Magical Travel today at 866-207-8387 or visit them online at magicaltravel.com to receive a free price quote. And be sure to mention Inside the Magic when you do that to receive your free Disney gift card for qualifying bookings when you book your Disney vacation with Magical Travel. And thanks very much to Mark Shackelford and Craig Hargrove for your donations this week, as well as all contributors, one-time donations, recurring donations, and big thanks to everybody who has already ordered some prints of the very special photography project that I recently posted over at OutsideTheMagic.com. Check that out if you haven't already. And now, let's get started with a trip around the world. This was a rather large week in terms of Disney news. Big week. Really no room for Star Wars May the 4th talk today. Much to discuss. But before I get to all the big news, I want to start things off with another bit of sad news. You know, a couple of weeks ago I mentioned that Mickey Rooney had passed away, and now this week another terrible loss to the world of acting, to the world of Disney particularly, as humans and toons alike are mourning the loss of Bob Hoskins. He died recently at the age of 71. Of course, he was best known for his role of Eddie Valiant in the private investigator in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and it's just terrible to hear that he is no longer with us. It's absolutely one of my favorite movies of all time, one of my favorite roles of all time. When I read that last week, it was just a tremendously sad. So I had to mention it here before we get to all the big, exciting news. Bob Hoskins will definitely be missed. So now let's get to the exciting things from Walt Disney World, where over the past few days there was a big 3-day press event in honor of Seven Dwarfs Mine Train at the Magic Kingdom, the unveiling and rollout of My Magic Plus, and a whole lot more news and other topics. Lots to share not only this week but in the coming weeks. There's so much that I can't put it all into just this one show. So we're going to take sort of the My Magic Plus stuff that was discussed over the last few days and put that ahead and focus solely on the big announcements and news, and then, of course, the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, which I'll be talking about a little bit later in the show. Let's take a step back a few days to the beginning of this big press event, where usually as part of these multi-day events, Disney will include some sort of a party for the press. You know, you're working hard all day, doing interviews and reporting and writing and all these things, and so it's nice to wind down usually, but for some reason this time they decided to throw the party at the beginning of the press event, which is a little bit unusual, and normally I don't even talk about this sort of thing because it's just it's a one-time party, a perk for those who attend and work on these events. So, but this time Disney was actually encouraging the press to post on social media about the party and share everything about it, which is a little unusual because normally it's an exclusive thing that you don't really want to share because other people don't have access to it. But in this case, since they were expecting everybody to do it, I'm talking about it here. It was held in the World Showplace twice at Epcot, and it was in honor of the upcoming 24-hour party, the Rock Your Disney Side party that's going to be held at Walt Disney World and Disneyland for everybody to attend on May 23rd going into May 24th. Now, this party was also called Rock Your Disney Side. They wanted everybody in attendance there to take a lot of selfies with characters showing various versions of your Disney side, I guess. And the characters that were there were like parade performers from Festival of Fantasy, some from the Festival of the Lion King. Goofy was there in honor of the 25th anniversary of water parks, Typhoon Lagoon specifically, I think. And Mickey and Minnie were there on a red carpet, as well as, and this of course was the most popular set of characters at the evening and continues to be both at Walt Disney World and Disneyland, Anna and Elsa from Frozen. They certainly didn't have a 3 to 4 hour line at this special event like they do in the parks, but it was definitely the longest line of the evening, and I had a chance to speak with Anna and Elsa ever so briefly there at the party, so I want to bring you over there now for a quick chat with these two very, very popular girls from Frozen. Of course, in addition to them, this time they had a nice sort of ice palace backdrop, as well as standing alongside a statue of Olaf, which was nice, and being the Rock Your Disney Side party, well, that's pretty much what I talked to them about. So here you go. Here's a little chat with Anna and Elsa from Frozen.
Hello, Anna. How are you today?
Great, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing very well. How are you, Elsa?
I'm well, thank you.
Wonderful. So we're here at the Rock Your Disney Side party. Anna, what would you say your Disney side would be?
My Disney side, well, if I went to the Kingdom of Disney World, I would probably rock the chocolate stores. So I would probably eat all the chocolate in Disney. That's how I would rock my Disney side.
What about you, Elsa?
I would have to agree with Anna. I think my Disney side would be spending time with my sister.
Of course. And Olaf?
Olaf's favorite would be the water rides.
Oh,
That's my favorite.
Blizzard Beach, naturally, right?
Oh, of course.
We've never even visited there before. We should go.
You definitely
Is
should.
it actually cold?
A little bit. Well, except in the summer.
Oh, you'll love that then.
Yeah, exactly.
In the summer, indeed. So there's my little chat with Anna and Elsa. If you want to see a video of that, head over to our YouTube channel, and you can see some photos from that party as well over at InsideTheMagic.net. So moving beyond that, there was simultaneously with this press event going on over at Disney's Hollywood Studios was the 25th anniversary of the park, of course, originally known as Disney MGM Studios. And because I was attending the events of the press event for 3 days, I did not make it over to Hollywood Studios for that occasion, unfortunately. But fortunately, I had some friends who shared some great photos and video of the festivities there. So thanks to DisneyLifestylers.com as well as WDW Guided Tours for sending over all of that. It began in the morning with a short ceremony featuring the park's vice president, Dan Cockrell, along with some 25-year cast members. A guest who had been there was there on opening day. A lot of characters. Later in the day, toward the end of the day, there was a very tiny, brief motorcade of some characters, and then it all ended with a very large fireworks show. That was definitely the highlight of the day. So if you head over to our website, you can see photos and some video of that special fireworks show. So happy 25th anniversary to Disney's Hollywood Studios. Now, as far as the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train goes, it has been, it's not officially opened yet. Despite having this whole big press hoopla, it's not quite there. However, they did host a sneak peek, allowing those in attendance to check it out and ride through. There was actually a short ceremony on Friday morning, very early in the morning before the park opened, which is always nice to be able to walk through the park and see it completely empty. I was walking down Main Street and there was almost nobody there on the way in or on the way out, which is cool. You don't get to see that too often unless you stay, very, very late at night. It's good to see that during the day. But so Walt Disney World officially dedicated, not grand open, but dedicated the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, and in the process announced its official opening date as May 28th. So still a few weeks away before it's going to be officially open. As part of the dedication, Disney Parks and Resorts chairman Tom Staggs was there, along with, of course, the Seven Dwarfs themselves and Snow White. And you can see a video of that whole dedication over on our YouTube channel as well. Now, even though the ride is not officially opening until May 28th, it could soft open any day now. It has not soft opened since this happened a couple of days ago. Cast members have been seen training and riding it, so it's getting close. It looked like it was done while I did have a chance to ride, and I'll be talking about that in just a little bit. But from what I understand, it was kind of being just barely put together for the media to be able to see it, just to report about it. But it wasn't quite in its final, perfect, ready to operate all day, every day form. That's what they're putting the final touches on that in this sort of test and adjust phase. So that's why it's not opening for another few weeks officially. But like I said, it could soft open at any time, any day. And right when the dedication took place and they announced that opening date of May 28th, the FastPass Plus availability also went up. So you are able to book a FastPass through My Disney Experience online for that. So much, much, much more about the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train coming up in just a little bit. Now, also part of this big event, Grumpy Cat was here at Walt Disney World, continuing to show her Disney side. I had a chance to spend a little time with Grumpy Cat, as did many people. Lots of photos being taken, lots of selfies, and she even got her own magic band that said, of course, Grumpy on it, and she got a little Disney name tag, and they were posting all kinds of pictures. Pretty funny if you're a Grumpy Cat fan. If you're not, you're probably rolling your eyes and saying, "Oh no, not this silly cat again." But for those who are, you can check our Facebook page and on Twitter. I've been sharing some Grumpy Cat pics. Now, let's get to all the really, really big Disney news beyond the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. On Friday, right after that dedication ceremony, was a big Around Our World presentation. And if you've been paying attention to Disney press events for quite a while, this is Disney's opportunity to unveil what's next. They're, talking about now for quite a while, and then they say, well, you know what? We have more things to come. And so they made some rather large announcements that I don't think anybody was expecting all of these. First up, and this was the one of the bunch that everybody I think was already expecting because word had already gotten out about it. A new nighttime offering for Disney's Animal Kingdom to debut this summer. It's a separately ticketed event called Harambe Nights. It's going to take place on Saturdays beginning June 7th for the duration of the summer in the new Harambe Theater that they're building for Festival of the Lion King. They also did announce that Festival of the Lion King is returning to the park in that new theater in June. So you can look for that then. But this special Harambe Nights event will include a new performance called The Lion King Concert in the Wild. And this is very different from Festival of the Lion King. It's going to feature live versions of scenes from the movie, sort of in a candlelight processional type of fashion. There's going to be a celebrity narrator and a live orchestra. They've announced most of the celebrity narrators. I'll run through this list real quick, starting with Viola Davis on June 7th. June 14th, they haven't announced yet. I haven't determined it yet. Montego Glover will be June 21st. David Allen Greer, June 28th. Michael Beach, July 5th. Harry Lennox, July 12th. Joe Morton, July 19th. Alfred Woodard, July 26th. Brian Stokes Mitchell, August 2nd, and Patina Miller on August 9th. In addition to watching that performance, there will also be food and a special street party. Again, it's all beginning June 7th and continuing through that last date in the summer. Now, here's where, all that probably sounds great. Here's where things start to sound not so great, perhaps. The cost. Prices start at $119 for adults or $79 for children. That's for regular standard tickets. There's also premium tickets available for about $20 more than that. So not exactly inexpensive. Candlelight processional you can just kind of enjoy as part of the park's offerings. This, because it involves so much more, and it's also special nighttime entertainment that's not normally offered at Animal Kingdom, there is quite the additional cost. But it's a small step toward the opening of Avatar in a few years, because that's really a part of what Disney is doing with this project, is infusing nightlife into Animal Kingdom, and there's even more to come. So here's where one of those really, really big announcements comes. There's no date for this yet, though it will premiere, as they said, before Avatar sometime. At Disney's Animal Kingdom, a new show is coming called Rivers of Light, and it's basically going to be our version of World of Color at Animal Kingdom, but not exactly the same. It's going to be something new. It's going to feature live music, floating lanterns, water screens, animal imagery. It's going to take place over the Discovery River in the park, between Discovery Island and Expedition Everest. So a big open area for lots of viewing opportunities. Some concept art was put out, though it's kind of just giving the feel of what this performance each night is going to look like, but pretty exciting to see something of that size coming to Disney's Animal Kingdom for even more nighttime enjoyment. It's going to be a couple of years away. They did show a video update on the ongoing Avatar project for the World of Pandora, as they seem to be calling it now. No real new details came out, however. The video was like 3 or 4 minutes long, and they didn't really say much of anything, except for the fact that they reiterated that the Avatar area is going to open at the park in 2017, so it's likely 2016 is when the Rivers of Light show will debut. So we've got a ways away to continue to learn more and more about that, but certainly exciting to look forward to. You can see that concept art over on our website. And speaking of upcoming things, there was a brief update about Downtown Disney's transformation into Disney Springs, again out here at Walt Disney World. A bit of a timeline was revealed. Now, the landing is going to be the first area of Disney Springs to open, and it's going to open in early 2015, so less than a year, most likely, until we see the first area of that, and that is when the official name change is going to take place. So if you're attached to the name Downtown Disney, you're going to be using that for less than a year as far as Florida goes. Obviously, it's still called that out at Disneyland, but here it will become Disney Springs officially early next year. Then the rest of it, the marketplace, the west side transformations, as well as the new town center, are going to open or reopen in 2016. So still a ways away for the full timeline of Disney Springs as well. Now, here's some more even big, as far as I'm concerned, even bigger news, because I'm really, really excited about this. At the Polynesian Hotel, there's quite a few things announced here and confirmed. There's been a lot of talk recently, a lot of rumors about changes to the lobby of the Polynesian, and Disney did indeed confirm that the great ceremonial house is being remade. They've released some concept art of the removal of the big waterfalls and all the foliage that are in the middle of the lobby for a whole new look of what that'll be. It's going to be much more open, much more modern looking, but still retaining that same Polynesian feel. The sort of icon of the Polynesian, that little smiley guy that's on the trash cans and signs and all of that. I don't know if he has a name, but he's going to be prominently featured there in the lobby in a new, much smaller water feature, it seems. In addition to that, the pool at the Polynesian is being remade. They're even renaming the hotel. It's now going to be called Disney's Polynesian Village Resort, which is a throwback to the original name of the hotel, Disney's Polynesian Village, or just Polynesian Village. So it's Disney's Polynesian Village Resort in the near future. Now here's where things get really, really exciting. Trader Sam's is coming to Walt Disney World. It's official, and it's going to be our own version of it. It's going to be called Trader Sam's Grog Grotto. What a great name. I love that. It's going to be, of course, a version of the popular bar that's at the Disneyland Resort at Disneyland Hotel. It's going to serve tiki cocktails and Polynesia-themed small plates. From what I understand, it's going to be very, very similar. They're not going to necessarily tourist it up for Walt Disney World and make it like a family-friendly restaurant or something. It's going to be still a bar and still reasonably small in size, and so I am really looking forward to finding out more. I understand there's going to be more information about all of these ongoing projects at the Polynesian coming pretty soon, within the next couple of weeks, so I'll certainly be talking about that more whenever I can, but I'm thrilled to hear that Trader Sam's is coming here. I might have to be there every other day because it's so much fun. So that's the really big news, the announcements that were made in a rapid-fire succession on Friday during this presentation. You can definitely head to our website and our YouTube channel to see some video of the announcements being made, to see photos of the concept art, and to read a few more details as well. Now let's turn to Disneyland, where we're looking ahead a little bit. This summer will be the 45th anniversary of Disneyland's Haunted Mansion, the original Haunted Mansion. August 9th, 2014 will be the date for that. Disneyland hasn't said that they're going to host a special event, though it's likely since they have done that every 5 years for many years now. So I'm hoping that's going to happen. Now, what's interesting is in Disneyland's Disney Gallery, some new artwork has shown up on the wall. It's artwork of the Hatbox Ghost, that infamous ghost that was in the Haunted Mansion for a brief amount of time when it first opened. It has become part of Haunted Mansion lore. And next to this artwork, it says materializing August 2014. Now, you might want to jump to the conclusion that that means the Hatbox Ghost is returning to the ride, but not so fast. I did confirm with Disney that this artwork is simply hinting at a new ink and paint cell that will be available later this year in August. Makes sense since that art is hanging in the Disney Gallery. So it's not meant to insinuate anything else other than, hey, here's some cool merchandise that's on the way. Of course, there is other Haunted Mansion merchandise that's on the way as well, including t-shirts and vinylmation and all kinds of other cool stuff. So Haunted Mansion fans should be pretty excited about this year, and certainly if they do hold a Haunted Mansion event, I will absolutely be out there for that. I've gone to the ones in the past, and they're always a good time. Now let's turn overseas, where Walt Disney Company has announced that they are investing $800 million more into Shanghai Disneyland, bringing its total budget up to $5.5 billion. Quite the investment. They've said that the additional money will go into, well, additional attractions, of course. Now, Disney's not going to have a total ownership of this property, just like all their overseas Asian theme parks there. A state-run holding company will have 57% of the of Shanghai Disneyland, and Disney will have operational control, though. So they'll certainly be in charge of how things are run. Shanghai Disneyland is going to open at the end of 2015. Jumping back out here to Florida for just a moment, Busch Gardens is still putting the finishing touches on Falcon's Fury, the massive drop tower in Tampa, and I'm really looking forward to getting on that, as incredibly frightening as it seems. Over 300 feet tall, and they turn you 90 degrees and face you straight toward the ground. Well, if you want to know what that's like, Busch Gardens has already revealed a POV, a point-of-view video of the ride in action, and just watching this video is a little bit stomach-churning. It's pretty scary. So head over to our YouTube channel. I've got it on there. You'll notice while watching the video that the ascent up the 300-plus foot tall tower is sped up a bit because it takes quite a while to get up there. So it's a little bit faster than it normally will be, but the drop is in real time. And, well, just put it full screen on your computer or on your TV or something. And, yeah, it's a little frightening, but I'm looking forward to getting on it. Also in Busch Gardens / SeaWorld news, all in the same company, SeaWorld is going to be unveiling its Ehu's Breakaway Falls this week in just a few days. I'll be there on Thursday to check it out. This is their side-by-side dropping water slide at Aquatica. So you can look for a report on that in just a few days as well. In other Disney news, Chicago's Museum of Science and Industry has extended the run of the Treasures of the Walt Disney Archives exhibit there. It's going to be there through August 3rd now. So if you're in the area and you want to see some really cool artifacts from Disney past, that is definitely the place you want to go. Now, last week I talked all about my trip out to California to see the unveiling of new Star Wars products. They're coming to the Disney Store. Of course, today was the day that they were supposed to officially launch, along with some special events in honor of May the 4th. Now, in addition to all of that, there was one extra thing that I got to see while I was out there, but couldn't talk about until just a couple of days ago, and now I can. It's a new series of apps for iPad that are telling the Star Wars stories. Each app will tell a different movie's story leading up to the highly anticipated release of Episode 7. And these apps are coming from Disney Publishing Worldwide. They're called Star Wars Journeys. It's an episodic series with interactive content and unlockables and games. The series begins, of course, with The Phantom Menace and continues movie by movie over the next few months leading up to that Episode 7. And then they hope, if everything goes to plan, that they'll do the other ones as well. They're kind of cool. I had a chance to play with it. You basically load it up and take your iPad and you can move it left and right in the physical space while you're holding it, and you'll scroll kind of through what they call 180-degree parallax viewing experience with infinite zoom. And what that really means is as you move the iPad around, or you just scroll your finger across the screen, it pans through an environment, a sort of an artist's rendition of scenes from the films. It's pretty cool how it works. It looks like there's multiple layers as you're moving through. Feels a little bit, has some depth to it, and then you can pinch and zoom as you go through the story, and you hear clips and read things and unlock character profiles. And then, as I said, there's a game as well for each one. And of course, for the Phantom Menace, the game is pod racing, so you can use the gyroscope and the thing to maneuver your way through the pod racing world, which is pretty fun. And different games will happen in each version of this. So Star Wars Journeys: The Phantom Menace is available now on the App Store under the Kids and Entertainment category. Now, just because I said that was all of the big new news from Walt Disney World earlier, that doesn't mean that this week didn't have other really, really big news. And there was some from the world of video games and some from the world of movies, both of which I will talk about now. In the midst of that big Walt Disney World press event, actually just before it began, there was another special event going on in Hollywood, California, from Disney Interactive to introduce the next generation of their popular Disney Infinity video game, adding Marvel characters to the mix. There was a bit of a Marvel flair at the special event itself, bringing Disney Infinity 2.0 to the world. I, of course, was not there myself, but I sent Jeremiah Dawes to cover it, and it all began with a special transmission by none other than Nick Fury.
We're in? Fury here. Pardon the interruption, but I don't have much time. S.H.I.E.L.D. just received intelligence about Phase 2 of the elite program, Project Infinity, a program that involves dozens of superheroes and spans the galaxy. You can see why evil forces have been in pursuit of this intel. I can't reveal any more information because this channel is being monitored. However, I sent a trusted colleague to fill you in on the details.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the star of the hit TV show Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.,
Agent Coulson himself.
I thank you. As you just heard, Disney Infinity is moving forward with the second phase of their operation. And to explain more about this, I would like to introduce to you the president of Disney Interactive, Jimmy Pitaro.
And from there, the event did continue to reveal the details about Disney Infinity 2.0, or as they named it officially, Disney Infinity Marvel Superheroes. Now, they mentioned that the first version of Disney Infinity has outsold its competitors with more than $500 million in sales and more than 3 million starter packs sold. So it's doing very well for Disney Interactive. More than 10 million of the free Toy Box downloads have taken place, including many from the fan community. Now, moving forward, this new Marvel version of Disney Infinity will include, of course, favorite characters: Hulk, Iron Man, Captain America, Black Widow, Hawkeye, Thor, Spider-Man even, and Loki will be in there. There will be physical figures, of course, just like the original Disney Infinity, these little figurines that are very much in the sort of a blend of the Marvel style and the Infinity style that you purchase and put on a base, and then they show up in the game and you play around with them. In addition to the characters that I've just mentioned, there are over a dozen more figures to come. Now, on top of the names that you just heard, Chief Creative Officer of Marvel Entertainment Joe Quesada was there, and before he got into talking much more about the game itself and Marvel's involvement in it, he had a rather humorous exchange with Clark Gregg, of course, who you just heard, who plays Agent Coulson. So here's that.
It's now my privilege to bring out legendary Marvel artist, writer, and Chief Creative Officer of Marvel Entertainment, my good friend Joe Quesada. After that looky thing? I know it's a little shaken. Thanks, Clark. Clark and I have been working together for many years now, and it's great to see what Clark has done with the character of Agent Coulson. I mean, for example, Clark, you're in our incredible television series, Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Right? Yes. You're a character character in our comics.
That's true.
You are a character in our animated series, right?
Yes.
That's right. And you're in almost every single Marvel film.
Almost all of them. But I need to have a word with you about Captain America: The Winter Soldier and Thor: The Dark World, because they were great films, but lacking in something.
Seriously. Well, while we're at it, anything else that you're not in that's been bugging you that you want to...
Okay, well, yeah, there is, Joe. The one thing I'm not in that I would like to be in is Dancing with the Stars.
Have you seen that show?
I have, and I got moves. I got skills.
That show is clearly evil. There's nothing but Agents of Hydra in that show.
Really? Dancing with the Stars is Hydra?
If you want to convert to Hydra, we could probably get you on Agents on Dancing with the Stars.
I think that's something that they might be talking about if there's a season 2.
Okay.
No, not really.
All right. Well, listen. If you want, you mull that over.
Okay, I'll mull that over.
Talk to these people about that stuff.
Excuse me. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Dancing with the Stars is Hydra. You heard it here. So after that, Quesada talked about sort of the decades of comic book history and applying it to the new video game. He brought out Marvel writer Brian Michael Bendis, who is helping to blend the Disney Infinity Marvel edition with the rest of the Marvel universe, to making sure it all makes sense together, just like all the movies flow together, which is along with the TV show. Now, of course, the game is going to have figures and power discs and a base and toy boxes. And actually all of that is going to be compatible with the original Disney Infinity. So don't worry, everything you already have for Disney Infinity is going to be able to work with the new version, so that's nice. There will be more than 80 new power discs, including some new types of power discs where you can team up characters and do costume changes, and then there will be vehicles as well. They've revealed some of them that include a Hydra motorcycle, Falcon's wings, Lola, of course, Agent Coulson's car. A team up is Iron Patriot, or a team up with Winter Soldier. There's going to be the Stark Arc Reactor, a Helicarrier Strike, Gamma Rays, and a whole lot more. You can see some photos of that over on our website of those power discs and really everything else here. The starter pack for this new version of Disney Infinity will have 3 heroes included, plus an Avengers playset piece, and then you can buy the rest afterwards. Toy Box is getting an overhaul, in which you'll be able to have more gameplay. There's going to be some specific game styles that'll be included in the Toy Box, including Tower Defense game, as well as Dungeon Crawler, which I'm really looking forward to. Sort of this overhead, randomly generated worlds that you can take your characters through and battle through and pick up items. And I mean, that just sounds like a whole lot of fun to do, especially with the Marvel characters. There's more battle options, more locomotion modes, some more structured play for the Toy Box mode with a new brush system, some builder characters, even create interiors of rooms with like Marvel-themed decorations and furniture and things for the walls, and I don't know, all of that just sounds awesome. Now, in addition to all of this Marvel stuff, they did say that more Disney characters are on the way as well for the new version of Marvel, or of Disney Infinity. So it is not just Marvel. In the teaser that they showed off, the teaser video had very brief glimpses of Maleficent, Merida, and Stitch. So those are coming to Disney Infinity. Now, all of this is going to be released fall of this year, 2014, and it's going to be available for PlayStation 4, PlayStation 3, Xbox One, Xbox 360, Wii U, PC, and there will be an App Store version as well, and that does exclude Nintendo Wii, the original Wii, so it's not going to be available for that, but pretty much all the other major systems. So head to our website to check out a trailer for the game, lots of screenshots, pictures of the figures, and the full video, well, the highlights of the unveiling of all of this. Pretty exciting. I'm looking forward to playing it later on in a few months. Now, we've been talking about Disney Store a lot lately with regards to Star Wars, but Frozen is still the big seller for Disney Infinity. In fact, Frozen is the big everything for Disney right now, and Disney Store has updated its guests, its customers, its anybody who wants Frozen by letting them know what's going on in the world of Frozen and why is it so hard to get a hold of Frozen merchandise. Well, the update for that is a new in-store purchase method when it comes to Frozen items. All Disney Disney Store locations will be replenishing frozen items basically as they receive them, as often as they can, but they'll be for sale on Saturdays at store opening. So if you're looking for frozen stuff, you want to go there first thing in the morning on Saturday. Now, if you're looking for an Elsa costume for your little girl, you're going to have to enter into a drawing to purchase one costume per guest, and that'll also take place on Saturdays. It's so crazy and so popular that they've had to resort to doing a lottery system basically in order to get them. There will be a 2-item per guest limit for frozen merchandise, so you can't buy up everything and go sell it on eBay. And they're expecting frozen products to be back in stock come July and August. So remember when I said that they were coming back in stock right away? Well, they've pretty much just gone and flown off the shelves within seconds. So more is coming this summer, and then they are developing more products as well for the future. So patience is key when trying to get a hold of frozen stuff. Now, let's turn to the world of movies, where, of course, we know about the Marvel Cinematic Universe and a lot of excitement going on with all these movies tying together. Well, it seems Warner Brothers and DC Comics are looking to do the same because a Justice League movie is now announced and in the works. It will, should unite all of these other DC-based movies, though they don't have quite as much lined up. So, a lot of people are saying it's too early for Justice League because they have to really set the stage with the other characters from the world of DC. Superman, Wonder Woman, etc. So, I don't know. Anyway, that's in the works. Certainly, it'll be interesting to see if that manages to keep up with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And now, let's end this Around the World segment with the big movie news of the week, which is Disney and Lucasfilm has announced the cast of Star Wars Episode 7. They have officially confirmed that original stars Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill, Anthony Daniels, Peter Mayhew, and Kenny Baker will be returning. They haven't actually officially confirmed their roles, but we can only assume that they're Han Solo, Princess Leia, Luke Skywalker, C-3PO, Chewbacca, and R2-D2, naturally. But in addition, they've announced other other actors that will be part of this new film. Actors John Boyega, Daisy Ridley, Adam Driver, Oscar Isaac, Andy Serkis, Domhnall Gleeson, and Max von Sydow. Very interesting cast there. Some surprises. So a lot of those have been rumored already, but Andy Serkis certainly came out of nowhere. Of course, he was responsible for Gollum in the Lord of the Rings series, along with a lot of other roles. It'll be really interesting to see what he brings to the Star Wars universe. And Max von Sydow will be really exciting to be in there as well. Of course, there was a group photo from their first a table read of the script together in London that was released, and it's pretty exciting to see all those people in one room. Now, this isn't all of the casting news. They've hinted that there is some more casting news coming very, very soon, so we should look forward to that. Star Wars Episode 7 will open worldwide on December 18th, 2015. And that is it for your news from around the world this week. Stay tuned for a whole lot from Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. And here's a tip that I'm going to offer up, having ridden Seven Dwarfs Mine Train quite a few times over the last few days. If you want the most thrilling ride on this new attraction of New Fantasyland at the Magic Kingdom, you're going to want to sit all the way in the back. Definitely has some great moments of pulling you around, especially the big drop. Now, if you want the best visuals and the best animatronic moments, you're going to want to sit all the way in the front. For the most swinging action on these new ride vehicles, you're going to want to ride with a lot of big people, and if you sit in the middle of the ride, it's just okay, and if you ride at night, it's just okay. So there's sort of my tips for the best experiences on Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. Still much more to come about this ride in just a minute. Everybody else, email your tips into tips@insidethemagic.net. But before I get to talking about the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, I want to welcome a new sponsor to this show, Scooter Vacations. On your next Walt Disney World trip, if you or someone you're with needs help getting around in the parks, you're going to want to check out the scooters from Scooter Vacations for enhanced mobility. With 6 models to choose from, you'll find a scooter that meets your needs, including models small enough to fit in your car trunk or specialty luxury models for use on boats, buses, and monorails. Scooter Vacations is the only scooter company with 24-hour customer service, so contact them now for more information or to make a reservation at 855-WDW-SCOOT. That's 855-WDW-SCOOT, or you can find them online at scootorlando.com. And now it is time to talk all about the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, a attraction, a ride at the Magic Kingdom that has been years in the making. Been looking forward to this since it was announced 2 D23 expos ago, and now it is finally, well, it's almost ready. As I said earlier, it's officially opening May 28th, but just a few days ago, Disney did sort of unveil a sneak peek at the attraction. It's pretty much done. I didn't notice anything that was, looking like it was unfinished, and boy, is it fun. I had a great time riding this ride. Now, I'll preface this by saying, number one, if you don't want to be spoiled about this ride, if you don't want to know what's going on inside or any surprises, you might want to skip the rest of this show, because I'm going to be talking in depth about what this attraction is all about, what you see in it, and my thoughts on everything, including a recording of the ride itself. So, there's that. Now let's talk about it. It is a tremendously fun ride, perfect for the Magic Kingdom. Easily my favorite part of New Fantasyland by all means. I mean, it's the biggest part. It's the centerpiece of New Fantasyland, and it is a wonderful, wonderful addition to the Magic Kingdom. The first time that I rode through it, my jaw literally dropped, and I felt like a kid. It's not, it's not super thrilling. It's not as thrilling as Thunder Mountain. It's not meant to be. It's a family-friendly roller coaster / dark ride. But it's not ever boring by any means. Like, I ride Barnstormer, and I'm like, oh, that's cute, but yeah. In this case, I ride through Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, and I love it. I love the outdoor roller coaster portion. I love the indoor dark ride portion, and just everything about it is just sort of a wonderful overall Disney experience that's great for all ages that are tall enough, of course. It's 38 inches is what you have to be in order to ride this, and anybody above that, if you just don't expect, the amazing, blow-you-away, e-ticket, thrilling adventure, it's not Expedition Everest. This is designed as a family ride. It's, as I said, perfect for the Magic Kingdom, and I just had so much fun. In fact, you can see how much fun I had on this. One of the things that Disney likes to do at these events when they have big new rides like this is have rider cams where they'll record reporters riding on these rides. I've done it before. I've done it on a Test Track. I've done it on Radiator Springs Racers, and in this case I did it on Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. So you can go to our YouTube channel and see me looking like a complete fool riding through this ride with a big goofy grin on my face, and I mean it's just I had so much fun. So before I get too far into talking about sort of bit by bit how the ride goes, I want to bring you some thoughts from one of the people responsible for its creation. I had a chance to walk through the interactive queue of the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train and talk about the ride itself. It's actually, my conversation took place literally minutes before I rode it for the first time. So it's a good introduction here. I spoke to the show producer of Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, Pam Rollins. She's an Imagineer, and she's a wonderful woman to talk to. So here is my conversation with her.
I'm standing in the brand new Seven Dwarfs Mine Train in New Fantasyland at Walt Disney World with Pam Rollins, show producer of this wonderful new attraction. Hey, thanks for taking the time to chat here.
I'm glad you could come today.
It must be very exciting after so many years. How many years has it been you've been working on this?
It's been almost 4 years.
Wow. Okay, so I remember when you first announced New Fantasyland, there were princess meet and greets everywhere, and at some point you transitioned into having this mine train. Why did you make that change?
Well, we can take any classic story and turn it into something we immerse with our guests. And this Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs story had not been told from the dwarfs' point of view.
Okay, yeah.
So it was a perfect opportunity for us. Plus, Snow White spent a lot of time in the forest.
Right.
And since we walked outside the castle walls, we were able to introduce that forest element as well as we did Enchanted Tales with Belle. So it was a
Right.
perfect opportunity for us to do some 3D storytelling.
Well, it looks fantastic on the outside. Let's talk about what's going on the inside a little bit, because you can see the roller coaster going around. It looks thrilling, it looks fun, you've got the cool rocking vehicles, but there's a mystery going on inside the mine. What can you tell me about what's going on
Well,
in
let me
there?
tell you, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train is a family-style coaster that take you through the gem mines of the Seven Dwarfs. So you're actually seeing them work as you go, and we play that with our original scores from the music. So it's the sights and the sounds. We have glistening jewels all through and special effects all through the mine shaft.
Yeah.
We slow you down just a bit so you can take that all in.
So how does it compare? There used to be Snow White's Scary Adventures here, a fan favorite ride. It's not here anymore. How does this compare to that experience?
Well, we're really taking you through the Seven Dwarfs mine, through their eyes, through it. So as soon as we immerse you, as soon as you come in, everything is about the dwarfs. You see axes and picks and everything they're working. You're going to work alongside with us, and then that actually introduces to the interactive cue that we've played.
Well, we'll get to that in just a second, but I have to ask about the dwarves themselves. They look like you have some pretty impressive audio animatronics to bring them to life.
We have taken our animation to a new height. We've collaborated with Feature Animation, and we brought these special animatronics, like from the great moments of Mr. Lincoln. I think Walt would be very impressed with how we've achieved this accomplishment, and I'm very excited for you to see it.
They look very impressive from what I've seen. Tell me about their animated faces. It's something that's, I've seen Buzz Lightyear, I've seen, even Madame Leota has a bit of, a different look to it. Is this an evolution of that?
Absolutely, with Lumiere being one
Right.
just more recently. It is, and like I said, we've collaborated with Feature Animation. It started with a sketch into 3D modeling. They worked very closely with us. And it was a perfect collaboration for them to see this bring their characters to life in a 3D way. So you'll see your traditional dwarfs. They'll be acting like be part of the show and part of the experience.
What was the biggest challenge in bringing this attraction to life?
I think because we were the topping of the cake here,
Right.
and we wanted to make sure we didn't impact our guests with the construction and fences, and that probably was the biggest challenge, is that how to work and how to phase this in so there's no impact on our guests whatsoever.
Sure. What about the development of these unique ride vehicles? How does that swaying motion, how did that affect you as you were developing it?
It was perfect. You look at the mine cars, and you saw the mine cars as they were, and you saw them kind of swing back and forth during the animated classic, and our ride guys thought that was a perfect opportunity to bring this new ride technology, the first of its kind. Walt Disney Imagineering has the patent on this ride vehicle, and it's very unique. So it sits on a cradle, and it rocks back and forth. And as you bank and turn and swing on the rolling hillsides of our Altier attraction.
If you watch the ride go around, you can't necessarily see, it's not like a huge motion left and right,
No.
but I imagine once you're on it, it's when you really start to feel it.
I actually don't feel going back. Some people do. I actually think it's like the banking of the turns.
Right.
It is such a smooth family, and that's what it is. It's a family coaster.
Okay.
So for young children all the way up to older adults, I think because we've added humor and thrills
Right.
and special effects, I think it'll complement every age.
Where would you put it on the range of thrill? Thunder Mountain, Barnstormer?
Well, it's on top of my list right now. I think it absolutely is. And I think it's because we combine the new technology and the special effects and the fast pace of the roller, the coaster going through and out the tracks.
Well, we are standing here in the interactive queue. What can you tell me about this entertainment that will be available?
Doc has asked you, he gives us some instructions on how to ask you to be part of their dwarf's workstation. So this particular one, we're actually helping them sort their jewels by colors and shapes. So you pull your jewel in here, and you can play along with
Okay,
me.
I'll
Yep,
definitely
you
do
go
that.
ahead, get your side colors and shapes.
This is the first time I've done
ovals.
this.
This guy would probably go right here. We get one more.
Now the goal here is to keep guests
Right, we're
entertained
going
while
to keep
they're
it.
waiting.
So and we're going to send those jewels right on to be sorted when we get
Okay.
inside the vault.
Excellent. And then I see there's some sort of water feature around the corner here.
Right, we can go over there. This is where we're washing our jewels.
Let's go check it out.
Yep. So an interactive element that plays piano-type music as they go along. So just like a piano keys, you can go in here and play tunes as we're washing the jewels.
I'm sure guests are not anticipating this being a water ride.
No, this will be the only water man. And it is actually and I'm sure on very hot days, so it'll be
This
a
is going to be
wonderful
wonderful, absolutely. Now this music that's being played, is it a familiar tune?
All composed from the original classics. Now this one's just tones.
Okay.
But it will time out and play use
How
it.
are you going to get kids away from this and actually get on the ride? There's
Well,
no
because
us
I hope
here
the
all
roller
day.
coaster takes them
Well,
there.
that's
Yeah.
very true. Well, I'm going to go get on the ride right now for the first time, which I am thrilled to finally see. Congratulations on this
Thank
brand
you
new
very
ride
much.
for the
I
Magic
hope you
Kingdom.
have a great time.
I did indeed have a wonderful time riding through it. That interactive queue is interesting. It's you didn't even hear all of it there, so let me talk a little bit about sort of the experience of walking through the queue before I talk about the ride itself and take you on a ride on the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. So when you walk up to this, the outside of this attraction, before you even step into the queue, it's surprisingly hidden. You can walk completely around the entire ride, which is interesting, and definitely see the mine train making its way around. You can see the big drop, you can see some bank turns and all that, and you get a preview of what it's like on the outside from various locations. A lot of great photo ops with Cinderella Castle in the background, and it's a big hill with lots of trees and grass and waterfall and rock features, but from the distance, from when you first walk up to it, it's a lot of it's hidden by foliage. It's really interesting how they've hidden away much of this really massive attraction. It blends in as just a scenic element, which is, it's not like it's meant to say, hey, there's a big roller coaster here. You kind of have to look for it, which is kind of fun. A different way of doing things. You think about like Expedition Everest, and you walk up to that and you see that huge drop, and you're like, oh, yeah, that's a ride. This, you kind of have to peek around the corners in order to see what's going on. Now, as you enter through the fairly nondescript entrance, there's not like a massive character-filled sign. It's keeping with the rest of New Fantasyland, feeling more real, just a much smaller sign saying, hey, this is the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. So as you enter in there, of course, there's the standby line and the Fast Pass Plus line available. And so if you take the standby line, you go through a long, winding queue that includes some interactive elements. If you take the Fast Pass Plus line, you skip all of that and just pretty much go straight inside. Talking about the interactive elements that you'll get to in the queue, there's 3 of them, sort of one right after another, and the first one that you encounter is this row of troughs with what appear to be floating gems inside, multicolored gems that are floating through, and your goal is to take these gems and move them into different sort of sort them, basically match the shapes and colors. Very simple. It's all done with screens, so it kind of resembles like a game you would play on your phone or your iPad, but it flows through several these troughs. It's mildly entertaining. It's something that'll keep kids interested for a few minutes, I suppose. Nothing terribly special, kind of in line with other interactive queue elements that you've seen before. When you turn the corner, however, from here, this is where things get a little interesting and odd choices, I suppose. What you just heard that I talked to Pam about was this feature that resembles the organ that the dwarves play, with the little carved wooden characters on it. But this is not an organ. This is something that you are now washing gems. There's another trough with some real physical gems that are permanently sort of embedded in there. And as you put your hand underneath each of these wooden character carvings, this stream of water comes down, and it makes a tone that you heard, and it lights up in different colors. But this stream of water comes down, and the idea is to kind of just put your hand in for a second and then let the water come down and wash the gems, right? And so if you run your hand back and forth, you'll see it sort of all these different little tiny streams of water. But they're pretty forceful, and if you leave your hand there, your hand gets pretty soaked, and if you were to, let's say, cup your hand, you would quickly collect water in your hand, and theoretically you would potentially then splash people with it, and I guarantee that's what's going to happen. Despite the fact that this is supposed to be sort of a fun little game feature, can already see kids just sitting under this thing and waving their hands and splashing water absolutely everywhere. I don't know how long this is going to last, because there's going to be people standing there saying, like, I don't want to get wet, I have cameras, I don't know this and that. A very odd choice for being in a confined area to have this much sort of water streaming down, but maybe it'll prove to be fun, and certainly on a hot summer day, as we mentioned there in our conversation, it'll be perhaps welcome. Now, once you finally get inside, which there's a door right there as well, entering the vault of the mine, that's when you enter what I think is the coolest part of the interactive queue. There are these barrels of glowing gems. Once again, now you're in a dark inside environment at this point, so the gems are glowing, and that's lighting up the room with them, and you can spin these barrels around sort of this semicircle, and as you spin the barrels, you look up, and there's projections on the ceiling that start as just sort of reflections of the gems, but the more you spin it, they turn into to the dwarves. And if you get all the barrels spinning, if people work together and all the barrels are spinning together, then Snow White appears and dances. These are animated projections. It's quite a cool effect, and it encourages everybody to work together to make it happen. And it's quite a lot of fun. And for those that don't want to participate in it, you can just walk right around the people who do. So that's a nice feature as well. So those are the interactive elements. It's not monumental. It's not really interfering other than the potential of getting wet. So, overall, it's sort of just a nice extra bit of entertainment to have some fun if you want to. Otherwise, you can just keep on a walk and move on and get on the ride. So that does take me to the ride itself, which of course the main attraction here. And before I tell you my favorite parts and what's great, and really I don't have a lot to say that's not great, so really just what's great about this, I want to take you on a ride on the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train through binaural audio. So this is where I tell you to put on your headphones and close your eyes and sit back and enjoy a trip on the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train at the Magic Kingdom.
Till we come to a complete stop. Gather your belongings and step out to your right.
Now, as you can hear, that was a great mix between dark ride and sounds and music and, roller coaster elements where you just heard kind of the wind blowing. So, hard to distinguish certainly just from the audio there as to what exactly was going on. So, let me talk a little bit about it. Before I do that, I'll mention that I do have several videos of the whole ride over on our website and on our YouTube channel. Quite a few different versions of this, and this was because of a little bit of confusion that was going on during this press event. During the day, they were doing, as I said, the on-ride cameras, and at first, while they were recording those, they were telling everybody no recording of your own on the ride. We'll supply you with footage of that. So I got that from them, which was most of the ride. It didn't include the whole thing, but it was most of it. So I put that up, so you'll find those videos up on our YouTube channel, which are great. great. Disney did a great job shooting this video. They're nice, smooth, mounted versions of the attraction where there's no jumping around. It's just a pure, straight version, actually, from the front row and the back row as well. So you can see both versions of that. But in addition to that, later on, once they were done filming all that, at that point they said, okay, now you can shoot your own video. So I did that as well. And I did that during the day and at the night, during the night. So you can actually see 4 different versions, 4 different videos of this ride over on our YouTube channel, including the day and the night ones are accompanied by binaural audio. So you want to wear headphones while you watch that and really get a good feel of what the whole attraction is all about. But now let me talk to you about what I loved about this. So coming out of the station, right away, it kind of you unexpectedly sort of get pulled down this little hill. Not a huge, tremendous drop or anything, but it's a little bit unexpected, especially if you're in the back row. That's where you really start to feel the forces that are going on there. And you go down and you go around some tight turns, and there's a lot of really steep banked turns on this. It's not exactly high speeds, but you do go around these turns that sort of whip you around pretty good. I was impressed to see for a family coaster how fun it was it is to ride around. Now you immediately go into a lift hill, which is a really quiet, smooth lift hill. It doesn't have that big clankety clank sound. You might have heard it just a little bit in that recording, but for the most part, it's very smooth. As you're going up, you pass by a mine entrance with a car sitting there on the left. You see the vultures overhead on your right, and that's when you go into sort of the first big back and forth roller coastery type part of this ride for maybe 20 seconds or so, kind of winding around these corners. And if you were on a ride with a lot of other people sitting on it, and perhaps your vehicle has maybe a lot of heavy people on one side and a lot of light people on the other side, that's when you start to feel sort of this back and forth rocking motion. As you heard when I was talking to Pam earlier, this rocking motion is not something, the swaying of the vehicles is not something that you necessarily will feel all the time on this ride. She said she hadn't really felt it. I didn't really feel it the first couple of times I rode, but the more times I rode through, and I think I rode maybe 5 or 6 times throughout the course of the day and night, I did feel it on some of the rides. So it really is dependent on who else is riding with you in each vehicle and how much they weigh and how much they're swaying, and sort of there's a lot of factors that can play into it. I noticed the rocking the most in the very next part, when you kind of come to a stop as you're entering into the mine and you slow down, then your vehicle continues to rock back and forth, which is interesting. It doesn't really add a huge element to the roller coaster sort of faster parts as you're going around, which is a little bit disappointing. I think everybody was really looking forward to it. It had been hyped up for quite a long time, and to have that part of the ride, it's not terribly visible as you see the ride going around, and you don't feel it a lot. So if I had to say any downside to this experience, it would be the fact that got a bit overhyped in the process. It's there, it's present, but if you're not really paying attention and looking for it, you might not even realize that you're rocking back and forth. With that said, when you enter the mine of the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, it is a phenomenal experience. The decorations, pretty simple. There's a lot of glowing gems everywhere. Left, right, up, down, surrounding you completely in this mine. You slow down, you move to a dark ride speed at that point, and as you're going through, the surroundings are just, they're glowing gems. That's nice, but what is absolutely captivating and incredible, and something that I have never seen before, are these amazing audio animatronics figures of the dwarves. They're bigger than I thought they would be. They're closer to you than I thought they would be, and they are so lifelike. They move fluidly. They go through their mining motions, picking at things, and of course leaning back and singing, and the expressions on their face are incredible. Disney has combined, and we've seen this a little bit before, Disney has combined sort of the movements, the mechanical movements of an animatronic with projected faces, similar to, Buzz Lightyear in the queue for Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin or Astro Blasters, similar to the eyes on Mr. Potato Head, or the face on Lumiere in Enchanted Tales with Belle, or even Madame Leota for that matter. It's the same sort of similar technology, but they have nailed it here. It is the best version of this I've ever seen. They worked with Disney Feature Animation to create these perfectly matched faces that blend wonderfully with the black light style, the bright colors, and instead of being sort of these mostly static faces with little flapping mouths or maybe a little bit of expression, they look like they have just stepped out of the 2D movie, become 3D, become real, and are just amazing. And it's not just the dwarves. There's little critters characters as well. They're funny moments. The poses that they're in are just wonderfully animated, and just as you're right, I mean, literally my jaw dropped as I went in there, and I was just like, oh my god, these animatronics are incredible. I hope this is the future of animatronics, because they're astounding. I can't say enough good things about how they look, because and it's something that you just have to see. Even if you watch the videos online, you see pictures of them, you think, wow, that looks really cool. When you get there in person, you're just still going to be blown away. You could spoil yourself silly looking at this stuff online, and you're still going to get there, and in person, you're going to just say, wow, that is amazing. And it goes on for quite a while, and it keeps getting more impressive, because as you're going through, first you see, Dopey with the gems over his eyes, which is funny, and you see some of all the other dwarves, they're working away, they're sleeping, they're, off to the side, and then as you near the end of the mine here, you kind of go left, and then you go right, and then as you near the end, then the bell rings, ding, 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 and you have Doc at the end. I'm pretty sure it's Doc. Maybe it's Happy. You have one at the end, and he's basically saying it's time to work, and he exclaims hi-ho, and all the other dwarves chime in, and from there it is off to work. Not only do they go, but that's where you go. You are now joining them, and as you're ascending another lift hill, you see these great silhouettes of the dwarves marching off to work alongside you as you're ascending this lift hill, and they keep going. There's these animated silhouettes that are rotoscoped directly out of the original film, and it looks perfect. You feel like that they are marching alongside with you as you're going up, and then you're watching and you're watching and you're watching, and all of a sudden, oh wait, here's the big drop of the ride. And again, if you're sitting in the back seat, this drop really pulls you down. The whole weight of the rest of the train yanks you down, and you have that great sort of stomach gut feeling almost come out of your seat just a little bit. It's a really surprisingly good drop. It's not huge, but it's got some good force to it if you are sitting in the back. If you're in the front, it's a great visual moment. Same with riding through the mine. If you're in the front, it's definitely the best visuals, but in the back, you get the most sensation and feeling. And from there, you kind of go around more corners, you go over a bridge, you go by the waterfall, you see the rest of New Fantasyland. You can see, Be Our Guest and the Beast Castle in the distance. You can see Cinderella Castle. You can see all of that as you're going around. And then finally, there's one last scene at the very end, and this is something that Disney has been holding as a surprise for quite a while, and they've even been trying to hold it as a surprise as long as possible. This is the scene that they didn't include in their released video of the ride. Of course, it's all out there now because everybody's, all the press has been on it and talking all about it. Cast members have been on it, and and this is, again, if you don't want to be spoiled, skip this part, but the very last scene is an outdoor... I should have mentioned earlier, as you're walking through the queue, you do see the Seven Dwarfs cottage. You see it from the front. You see the entrance to the cottage. It looks exactly like what you see in the movie. It looks like they had just been there. Their pickaxes are lying around, and you can kind of faintly, barely look inside the window and see something going on in there, but you don't really know what. Well, now as you're on the ride, you see the backside of the cottage, where there's all these open windows for you to look inside the cottage, and there they have used old figures from the original Snow White Scary Adventures attraction, old figures of Snow White and the dwarves, and they're dancing around to the silly song, which of course is... They're dancing around to that. They're more animated than they ever were in the old dark ride. Now inside, you see Snow White dancing back and forth. You see there's sort of a stack of dwarves dancing around. You see other dwarves, and you get to kind of stop there for a second before you head back into the unload area. You stop, you watch them, and then if you listened very carefully at the end of that recording of the ride, you may have heard a cackle, and that's because just as you're passing the cottage on the right side, you catch a glimpse of this awesome new animatronic of the old hag, the witch, peering into the window, holding an apple, and she turns and she looks at you and she cackles. And it's kind of an ominous ending. You know what's coming for the rest of the story, but you've now experienced Snow White from the dwarves' perspective. They're there, they live there, they go to work, they meet Snow White, they're happy, and that's their perspective of this part of the story. Well, now that's where the story sort of picks up from there, and now you got to go to Disneyland to ride through the rest. But it's a really interesting ending that I love. The witch looks great, the old hag looks great, and it's a nice sort of final moment that you can definitely see some video of on our YouTube channel there. And then you go back into the station, and that's the end of the attraction. And overall, the complete package of Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. It is just simply a fun ride. It's really great for everybody. You know, again, as long as you're 38 inches tall, and you don't expect too much. You know, you don't expect a thrill ride out of this. You just expect a great Disney ride. It really delivers. It's not, you know, super long. It's not like it's a 10-minute ride or anything. It's just a couple of minutes long. But for the length that it is, and for, you know, sort of this combination dark ride roller coaster, I had so much fun, and I cannot wait to get back on it again. It is just you know, it was waiting, lots of anticipation, and it really, at the very least, it met my expectation. I think it really exceeded my expectations because of those amazing audio animatronics figures. I just had a blast riding it. Now, looking ahead, of course, it officially opens May 28th, and when the Fast Passes became available and everybody realized they became available, so many people were trying to get them that the site actually ended up crashing and going down for a little while because so many people were trying to book it. In fact, Jim McPhee, who's at the top of My Magic Plus under that whole program, at the press event noted that over 50,000 signups had already taken place for Seven Dwarfs Mine Train in the span of like an hour or maybe 2 hours before the site crashed and they couldn't accept anymore. And now it's back up and running, and you should be able to hopefully squeeze in there. But everybody's very, very excited to grab the Fast Passes for this attraction, and you should be, because it is a lot of fun. So to wrap this talk up about the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, I had a chance to talk to another guy who you've definitely, another Imagineer, I should say, who you definitely have heard from here on the show many times before. He was in charge of all of New Fantasyland, and certainly including the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train and everything else, and now that project is completed. So I definitely wanted to take the opportunity to sort of talk to him about the conclusion, the wrapping up of New Fantasyland. He is none other than Imagineer Chris Beatty, and here's what he had to say.
Let's take a step back, sort of the bigger picture here. I've been talking to you about New Fantasyland forever, since the beginning of this thing, and now I guess it's done, right?
Yeah.
As of May 28th, at least.
Right.
What does that mean? What does that mean for you? What does that mean for Disney, for the park?
End of a long journey, and I shouldn't even say the end, because I mean I could use the Walt quote that parks are never complete, and it is true. We always have things that we're working on. I mean, I can tell you I have a whole side list of projects that I would love to see come to fruition in the parks. It really just takes its timing, and it's the right story, and when those two things come together, then it really, I think, you'll see us keep adding to the Magic Kingdom. You'll see us add to our other parks here at Walt Disney World. And so, it's the end of one journey, but it's going to be the beginning of another very soon.
You've said that Enchanted Tales with Belle is what you're most proud of. Obviously, all of New Fantasyland is wonderful, but it's that emphasis on story. When you look at Mine Train, you're telling a story from a new perspective. Where in the process did you realize that was the way to take Snow White?
Yeah. Snow White is such a classic story, and there's so many directions we could have taken it, and the original attraction kind of took us through that book report, right? And we didn't want to do that. We wanted to mix it up a little bit, and we thought, first of all, it was the conveyance system. When we locked down what we thought we wanted to, go with that direction of the mine train and the swinging bucket, that really drove us to say, well, maybe we should start to tell the story of the mine and the dwarves, maybe more than this linear story of Snow White, and that was really the genesis of that idea.
Okay, one more question. The animatronics, amazing. My jaw dropped when I saw them. Is that what we're going to see, looking forward out of Disney's animatronics? Because I want to see millions more of those.
You're going to see everything. I mean, I would say that's just one, but we love to push the boundaries. That's great, but what's next? And I think you'll see us keep pushing, and you'll see even more amazing characters coming soon.
And I'm looking forward to every bit of it. It's always a pleasure to talk to him. I actually, without recording there, I learned a little bit more from him, which was really interesting about those animatronics. Apparently, in the process of developing this attraction, the Imagineers were exploring different options. Do they go with classic type animatronics? They had this idea about these new sort of projected face animatronics, and ultimately, apparently, it was Tom Staggs, chairman of Disney Parks and Resorts, that saw their sort of early rough test of that type of technology and said, yes, do that. Go in that direction, forget the other ones. And he was the one who sort of made that call to go in this direction for these, and what a great call, because it ended up just being phenomenal. For an attraction to take this long to develop, there are reasons for that. People have been asking why is it taking 3-4 years for them to come up with the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train? It's because of new developments, that they're not just taking technologies that they've already been familiar with, they've been developing new ones, and that just simply is a lot of trial and error and research and taking time. The swinging ride vehicles is something they've been working on for a very long time. Unfortunately, it seems that it needed maybe a little bit more work, and maybe it'll be better. Maybe they are still tweaking that. Maybe that's why the attraction is not opening until May 28th. Maybe they want to make that more pronounced and more sort of noticeable. I don't know. We'll see in a few weeks when it's officially open. But short of that, definitely the development of these animatronics is a major deal, and is something that they needed to take the time to make sure they got it right. And boy, did they ever. That's definitely the highlight for me of this new attraction. So, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train could be open any day now. Likely will soft open before the 28th, and especially before or at least in time for the 24-hour day. I can't imagine they're going to have the Rock Your Disney Side 24-hour day without having the Mine Train open, but officially it opens May 28th. In the meantime, definitely head to InsideTheMagic.net for and on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/InsideTheMagic, for lots of videos, the dedication of the ride, as well as the ride itself, and a walk through the queue. And I'm actually going to be posting pretty soon an even closer look with more photos from throughout the experience, and even more video as well coming within the next few days. So there it is. Hopefully you all had a great time following along with me over the course of all of the things that Disney was unveiling over the last few days. There is still more to come in addition to the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train closer look. There's much more information about sort of My Magic Plus, where that's going. Some new information about sort of the development of that, what they were thinking in developing FastPass Plus, and where they hope it to go in the future. So I'll be writing about that very soon as well. But if you've been following on Twitter and Facebook and everything throughout the course of the last few days, I had a blast. It was absolutely exhausting. I got very, very, very little sleep, but it was worth every second of it because it was so much fun. So thanks for following along, and lots more to come. And certainly enjoy the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train when you do get a chance to get on it. It is a wonderful ride. And that's it for show 474. Going to skip listener feedback this week just because there was obviously so very much to talk about, as I'll bring that back next week. But a lot to look forward to in the coming weeks ahead. Certainly more from the last few days, some more information about the new announcements, as well as a lot from the other parks. Some fun from Aquatica, fun from Busch Gardens, and of course on the horizon is Diagon Alley over at Universal Orlando. Really looking forward to seeing that. The sort of finishing touches on the London waterfront area of that are definitely being installed now, and then the rest of it is forthcoming. Still no opening date announced for it, but I'm sure we'll see a soft opening, soon-ish. Maybe not before Seven Dwarfs Mine Train opens, but it's got to happen sometime in the next few weeks because it is moving right along, and that is going to be the big story of the summer. So really looking forward to seeing all that. So much excitement in the world of theme parks right now, and I can't wait to continue to explore it all and bring it all to you. I do want to thank Magical Travel for sponsoring this week's episode of Inside the Magic. You can find out more about their services by visiting magicaltravel.com. And of course, thanks again and welcome to our new sponsor, Scooter Vacations. If you need some better mobility when you're at Walt Disney World, you're going to want to check out Scooter Vacations at scootorlando.com. So thanks to all of you for listening each and every week. Definitely head to our YouTube channel. Check out all the many videos that I've uploaded over the last few days, and even a few more to come. And definitely visit our website for lots of photos and articles, and continue to follow us on Twitter and Facebook as well for all the latest up-to-the-minute updates from all of this. So do please have a magical week. Goodbye.
With mind and heart. And when it becomes a reality, it's a dream come true for you and me. So there's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow shining at the end of every day. There's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow, just a dream away.